Welcome, everybody. It is Seth Apter. I am here, as always, sitting in my studio in New York City, waiting to share with you my newest release. And this is a good one. It is from Freespirit Fabrics, and it is my upcoming next collection. If you hang out just a couple minutes, I will get into the heart of the matter and tell you a little bit about the collection, what it's about, when it's releasing, when you can get it in your creative hands. I'm going to share with you some artwork that was made to create the collection. I am going to take you through every piece of fabric so you can see all the designs, answer your questions along the way, and just have a good time. So if you are here live, thank you. As always, leave a comment. Let me know that you are here. Let us know where you're from. If you are watching on recording, unlike my usual videos where I spend the first, I don't know, anywhere from 5 to 55 minutes saying hello, we aren't going to be on too long with the welcomes. We are going to move right into the big reveal of my new upcoming collection of fabric from Freespirit Fabrics. So welcome, welcome, welcome. I am so excited to see you all. We have a lot of people here from a lot of different places. We have the US represented. We have Australia represented. We have England and New England represented. And I don't know, we have Bev from the UK, Charmaine's here, Shelby, Joy, Mitzi, Margaret, Rhonda, Wendy, Walter, Linda, and many other people who haven't left a comment. I just want to, again, thank you for supporting me and being here for this show and tell. I love a new release, and I am particularly enamored by this fabric collection, and I hope you will be too. We're going to do the 1-minute countdown, my friends, and then we're going to take a couple minutes to tell you about the collection, and then we're going to show it to you live and in person. Welcome, Loie. Welcome, Martha. Welcome, Francis. Welcome, Sheila. So good to see you all here. If you have any questions along the way, please leave them in the comments. If I miss them, ask it again. I am flying solo today. Janine, the other member of my team, other than myself, is away today. She is on her way to an art adventure, which is quite exciting. And I am going to be here doing it all today, just like old times. Hey, Grace, welcome. Hello, Meg. It's really so good to see you all. I thank you for being here. I am so appreciative, ever so appreciative of the ongoing support you give me for the work that I do that allows me to keep doing what I do and what I love to do. And honestly, and I say this all the time, I am so fortunate to be able to do what I do. It's almost unfathomable that this is my job. Hey, Shelly. Shelly's from a shop, Seems So Together. She's been very supportive of my collections. I know she's going to be getting this one. So thank you. She's in Bella Falls, Vermont. Everybody should check out her links. And Shelly, feel free to put a link directly to your shop here today and support the independents, because without them, I don't know where we'd be. All right, my friends, we are going to do the 5-second countdown, and I'm going to tell you about the collection and then show it to you. So together, let's do it. 5, 4, 3. Hey all, it is Seth Apter here, and I am here to share with you my newest release of fabric with Freespirits. What I absolutely love is that I finally get to show it to you. This has been in the works, as always, probably about a year. And sadly, I'm just going to say this right up front, it's not going to be able to be in your creative hands until, sorry to say, August. So why am I sharing and showing it to you now? It's not about teasing. It's about the fact that the way it works with fabric is that we are in a resale, pre-sale, retail, pre-sale, retail period. What does that mean? It basically means that I want this fabric shared far and wide because now is the time when the shops who will carry it are deciding whether to order it. And I encourage you to share with your shop if you like this collection, that you would appreciate it if they would get it. And I thank you in advance if you do that. So you won't be able to see it yet, but this is a little bit of a treat because as I show it to the shops, I get to show it to you as well. And hopefully you're inspired and maybe you'll begin to think about now what you want to make later. So this collection, it is called, I'm going to look at my cheat sheet just to make sure I don't miss anything. It's called One Layer Away. Those of you who have followed me for more than 25 seconds will know that comes from one of my all-time favorite phrases, catchphrase, you're always only one layer away from magic. Let me read you the very short description of what this collection is about. This is the official blurb. Here goes. Every artistic creation, whether it is a painting or a quilt, is made piece by piece and layer by layer. Moments of challenge often arise throughout the process, but no doubt you have experienced that special feeling when it seems to all come together. For this reason, my mantra has been that an artist is always only one layer away from magic. The 18 designs, 18, my largest collection to date, in this collection were created to offer you the tools to find your very own magic. So what can I say about this collection? It is 18 designs, which means I was able to really go wild and extend myself. It is 100% cotton. Freespirit is a quilting company. Does that mean that only people who use it to make quilts can buy this fabric? Let's say it together. No. Anybody can use it. This can be used for mixed media, covering journals. It could be used for assemblage. It could be used for quilting. It could be used to make bags, to make clothes, to make home decor, to make dolls, really to make anything and everything. And let me just tell you, Freespirit is an incredible company. The quality is off the charts. And I know you can't feel the fabric as I show it to you today, but trust me when I say the hand of this fabric is delicious. And those of you who have any of Freespirit fabric already know that. So there are 18 designs, but there is also a bonus. Drum roll, please. Loie is in the background giving me that drum roll. And I want to share with you that I also am releasing my first quilt back. Quilt back, what's that you say? If you don't know what a quilt back is and you're not going to use it for quilting, it's just a big piece of fabric that you can use for anything. But of course, it's for the back of a quilt. I love the fact that as I have been working longer with Freespirit, I am now broadening the range. The collection that is live now called Stamped, it's a low volume collection. It's meant to be for background and contrast. And before that collection, I didn't have that. Now, with this release, I will also have a quilt back, and it is a beauty. And I'm going to show it to you. What else can I tell you about it? Well, I can tell you a little bit about it that every time I design a collection of fabric, I think about what I've designed before, where I am now, and where I want to go. And what that means is that every collection I release works with every other collection that I release. It's very important to me that if you take your money, your hard-earned money, your limited cash, and you spend it on my collections, that you don't just use it one and done. Everything that's coming out today with this collection will work with all the other prior releases. So that is great. Also, it's classic Seth, because why would I design something that wasn't authentic to me? And more important than that, there's a twist. There'll always be a twist. There'll always be something about the collection that, while it connects with my prior collections, makes it feel new and different and exciting. And I hope you notice what that is. Those of you who hang out and watch this whole thing, I would love at the end, if I remember to ask the question, tell me what you see about this collection that might make it unique to the prior releases. I want to flip the camera and tell you a little bit about the inspiration behind the collection And for the moment, that includes sharing some artwork that the collection is based on. So remember, the collection is called One Layer Away. This is a piece that I did a number of years ago that formed the original backbone of the collection. It is really where everything began, both in terms of the name, the inspiration of this idea of layers, the idea that you take any piece of fabric or any art supply, you add it to a project that's not working, and bam, you might find your magic. So I'm just going to linger on this one close up so you get a sense of where the collection is going, because really a lot of what's in here will be seen throughout this collection. I want to share and show you a few other pieces of art that were involved behind the scenes. And you can kind of see already maybe a little bit of the color story here. It's giving you maybe an idea of some of the tones you're going to see. And then this is an original piece of art. It's called Northern Territory. And you can notice that it is really all about the details, all about the texture, all about the layers, which is really what my art and my fabric collection is about. So if you put these together, you take a snapshot and you add a lot more, you know what One Layer Away is about. It leans into some new shades for me, some shades of lavender, very soft shades, not pastel, but soft, some shades of ochre and yellows. There are also a sea glass inspiration, some beautiful seafoam greens and some cornflower blues, soft and light. At the same time, you'll notice there's some rich, darker elements here, and that is included in this collection too, where we have some very grounded, dark earth tones. So let's move out from the inspiration and let's share and talk about the collection. I'm going to show you all 18 designs and then the quilt pack. If you're just joining me, this is my new collection coming out from Freespirit. It is available now for retail pre-sale when the shops pre-order. You will not be able to get this in your creative hands until August. So one of the things you're going to notice about this collection is that it includes some words, shocker. It also includes some design elements, shocker. It includes some blended colors, shocker. And it also includes some elements that repeat throughout the collection in different ways. So I do want you to notice we have right there One Layer Away from Magic. So this piece is called Overlay. And I just want to give you a little bit of close-up of each piece that I show you so you can, sorry about that, get a better sense of what it is you have to look for. Again, overlay. I'm not going to linger too long on any, but I would love for you to keep track of what you see and to maybe, again, at the end, when I ask you, what is it about this collection that you notice that might be a little unique from my prior collections? I also would love to know, what are your favorites? All right, so after overlay, we have believe. And I'm not going to say this for everyone, I promise, but here you have some words, shocker. You have some blended colors, shocker. You have some abstract details, shocker. I don't think I need to say that anymore, right? So again, this one is called Believe. And we will share and show it to you close up. I really want everyone to be aware that when I design these collections, I definitely design them with both the fabric artist, quilter or otherwise, and the mixed media artist in mind. It's very important for me that I stay true to myself, but aim to offer something that I think can work for many, many different creatives. And in fact, as a collection as a whole, I think this might be my strongest collection as a quilt collection. You know, I have 18 SKUs, so it gave me the opportunity to really lean into the darks, lean into the lights, lean into the midtones, and not feel like I was shortchanging any one of those areas. Thank you for the positive feedback I'm getting from you guys. All right, that was soft and light. Let's go a little dark and rich and jewel tone, and I can show you jewel plaid. Jewel plaid, my friends. I guess I shouldn't say it every time, but I do. I love this one. It's unique. It's a little different for me. It is so rich. And interestingly, I always think about this, is when you see a fabric from far away, this is not that far away, but versus close up, you really get a different sense of how the fabric can be used, especially when you're going to be cutting it down into smaller segments. So here we go. This is jewel plaid. And I again want you to really notice the tones here. You see some of the sea glass tones, the rich purples, lavenders, seafoam, aqua green, some really, really dark colors in here, inky blacks and blues to ground it. I think this would be really interesting cut up into small segments and used in some different ways. All right, once again, jewel plaid. You will notice that some of these are what I would call hero fabrics, where there's tons of layers, the more is more, lots of boards. And then there's some that are a little bit softer and will serve as tools to use in different ways. All right, so this one is called From Magic. And in some ways, it is one of the core designs in the collection. Once again, it has one layer away from magic. But what does it have? It has these splats and splotches. And it's got those tones, the yellows and the ochres, the seafoam greens and cornflower blues, some beautiful soft lavenders, some richer bold tones, and there's some beautiful inky blues. It's a beautiful combination. And I really want to show you the close-up and then show you one other thing. One layer away from magic. I think this one is particularly good to be used in a variety of ways because you could cut that out. Let's just cut it out figuratively, you know, as a block, as a journal cover, and you get that. However, you choose to go in a whole different direction and you do this, you get all of that. I love that slice. So what is it that I wanted to show you a little extra? We're going to just flip back to this. And we're going to remind you that this came from that. So if you're curious, as many people are, how does art turn into fabric? Well, there's lots of steps. I'll be sharing that probably in much more detail when this collection actually comes out. Again, available all the way in August for you guys, but I'm sharing it now because it's in retail pre-sale. But you can see two things here, just how literally, with the change of scale, it looks like I photocopied it. It's also a little bit heightened in terms of color, so there's a little bit more contrast. But what I really want to highlight here is the amazing job that Freespirit does. My lines are always digital because I refuse to limit myself to a certain number of colors, which would be needed to create all the passes to get the fabric complete when it wasn't done digitally. But you can see the level of detail captured by Freespirit is just incredible. And just a quick shout out to my people who I work with at Freespirit. I could not work without Debbie and Jenna. They are equal partners in the creation of my collection. All right, let's go and show you Mesh Mash. That's Mesh Mash. Now, if you've been paying attention, you'll notice that this is recognizable because you saw my original piece. So what's different? Once again, it's a scale change. The scale's been reduced and the contrast has been heightened a bit. But other than that, this is a literal representation of fabric. And there's Debbie Stark in the background. Happy to know that. Oh, let's see here. Happy to know that Freespirit's in the background watching. Thanks, Debbie. All right, so I love this one as well. I know you'll get tired of hearing me say that, but honestly, they would not have made it to market if I didn't love each and every one. This one has a lot of those tones that I talked about in the very beginning, and I think it's just quite beautiful. And it is one of the ones that I'm leaning into having be all about the design. It's a quite simple design, but I think it's very impactful without words to give you options that you can use to create with. For those of you, the few of you out there who might not lean into the text that I use a lot. And you'll also notice as I go through the text, it's not random text. It's very deliberately chosen. And there are a lot of words, all of which have what might be known as a positive valence. And that's really important to me, that when I put something out in the world like this, it comes with a beautifully positive message. This one is called Patch. From far away, I love how it looks, but really I love it more when you see it close up. I look at my screen and it is looking a little bit more green, sort of pea green than it actually is. But let me give you some close-ups and you can see some of the words here. Yeah, it's still reading a little greener than it is. Remember, wander, wonder, beauty, gather, spread your wings together. There are messages behind everything I do and an intention behind every choice that's made, and ultimately the way in which the collection comes out as a collection. And then also I just want you to notice, again, Freespirit capturing all that level of detail, because there are marks and scratches here that can barely be seen by the naked eye. All right, so that was Patch. My friends, that was 6 of the designs, and we have 18. So we still have so many more to go. I want you to remember, I'm going to ask you, if you hang out here long enough, to tell me what your favorites are, and also to let me know if you see or notice anything about the collection that makes it a little bit different or unique than the prior collections. I mentioned that I used a lot of lighter tones, but these lighter tones are grounded with darker, richer earth tones, and I have one that is all about the earth, so much so that it's called Down to Earth. This one, okay, I'm looking at my screen, it's reading a little lighter than it is. It's actually even darker, at least than how I see it. And this was created based on a number of pages in some of the mixed media books that I made. And despite the fact that it is so dark and earthy, if you look very closely, you're going to see there are lots of pops of color. I love a pop of red, and the reds are throughout here in many areas. And there's some lighter tones that bring in a much needed contrast. So this in and of itself is a good example of dark tones, light tones, midtones together. But when, let's do a little preview of the next one, when layered together with some of the other tones and colors, let's see if we can get that. Yes, you can see how gorgeous that looks. That was a sneak preview. But right now we're on Down to Earth. And I do love a rich, deep, dark, earthy background. And I think this would be quite useful both for mixed media and quilting, because any section that you take will be different than any other section. All right, let's go back to the preview that I just gave you of rippling. Rippling. And I adore this one. This one is similar to the concept of mesh mash. They'll work really well together. But again, it's leaning toward this overall pattern to give you more options to be able to use a lot of the fabric without text. And I think this is beautiful, and this really encapsulates a lot of the colors of the whole collection. You might remember this. So this turned into that. Yet again, are you sensing a pattern? The scale is shifted and the colors are bumped up a bit, although quite true to the original, to get more contrast. So rippling, I think this one would be gorgeous in home decor. I absolutely want a pillow in this, and I think this actually could be a great t-shirt too. I love the richness in tone and the softness of tone together, and the way in which those marks in the background make that beautiful pattern. Rippling. All right, how about we go to affirmations? I talked to you about this just a minute or two ago, this whole notion that I've chosen for a specific reason and a specific message, and this is filled with affirmations. Chase your dreams, wander one step at a time, be fearless, shine your light, choice, explore. There's a lot here. Color tones, once again, work incredibly well with all the tones here. And while it's a very different piece than the others, it does capture that same attention to these tones, the lavenders and the seafoam blue, greens, and the cornflower blues, and the ochres shifting to yellow. And there's some rusts in here too, because how could I have a collection without rust? So let's just give you a little level of detail so you get a better sense of it. And that's my message to you today, people. Be fearless. All right, so that's affirmations. Oh, I love the next one. I love, love, love. It's called pictograph. Again, it leans into the design over text. It's got such a rich, earthy feel to it. Colors are lighter than some of the darker ones I've shown you, but depending upon what you pair it with, this could read as light, it could read as dark, it could read as mid-tone. It is called pictograph. Let me show you up close so you get a better sense of it. And then, I don't know if you can see all the details there, but there are lots of marks and splatters and different contrasting tones underneath it that may, at first from far away, not fully read. Lots of little marks. Again, pictograph. I have to say, it's been wonderful to look at the comments where people are saying, this is my favorite, and then later on saying, no, 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 this is my new favorite. You know what? I would love for you to have 18 favorites, but that's not going to happen. All right, let's go back in time a bit to some of my older collections. I think that the next piece really channels some of the things that I've done from storyboard, my first collection, onward. This one is called Desert Garden. No surprise that I continue to be inspired by the desert. It's a place I keep going back to. It is seen in a lot of the color choices and design elements of my art. And I think this is a great bridge between some of my older collections and this new collection, where there is this lighter tone in some of these yellow ochres. So I think that this would be a really beautiful fabric to have, Desert Garden, to connect whatever projects that you might be making with my older collections and my current collection. Let's get close up on this because there's just so much to see here. There are numbers in there. There are obviously marks and symbols. There are patches of text, because even when I don't want it to read strongly as text, a lot of times I have text in the background. There's more text there. It's really kind of everywhere. And the colors here are very desert, very earthy, but there's a little bit of brightness to it as well. Again, this one is called Desert Garden. All right, my friends, we still have more. We still have more. So hang with me. And I'm hoping you're enjoying the details in here, and also the intention behind it, and also the fact that there is so much to choose from this collection. This one is called Freestyle. I love this one too. There's so much about this. This one just sort of screams me. It's got those splatters. It's got text. It's got text that's not really text. It's got symbols and marks, small details, a little bit bolder details. It's got some dark marks and splatters. It's got that linear element to it, which I love so much. But when you look at all the details in here, they're all soft and curvy. And it's got some lightness to it, which I love, because if you know me well, you know I live in the land of midtones, and I tend to favor that. But you can't have a quilting collection with only midtones. So we got our lights, we got our darks, we got our brights, we got our muteds, we got our inkies. So let me just get close up so you can get a sense of what is going on here. Wendy says, I would love to splatter a tiny bit of red paint on this one. Oh, yeah. Freespirit, can we go back and redo this entire one with a little bit of red? Or maybe I'll just have to do it by hand on every bolt you release. Thank you for the positive feedback, people. It's so appreciated. As I said in the very beginning, I think in some ways this is my favorite collection, although I usually say that with every new collection. But there's something very special about this one. And I am feeling from you that maybe you feel it as well. Again, I am so sorry you have to wait until August of 2026 before this is available to purchase. Again, this is a retail pre-sale period. So if you love this and you know a quilt store or a fabric store or a sewing store or a craft store or an art store that might carry fabric, please let them know this is out there for purchase. They can go to Freespirit, their Freespirit rep, or sign up so that we can see this in more places so that more people can have options to purchase it down the line. All right, we still have more. I can't believe we still have more. We have so many more. This is called Grid Graph. I almost feel like this is it's the size of two collections. It is actually literally double the size of my current release stamped. This one's called Grid Graph. It's got the linear elements to it, which I love, but the linear elements are overlaid over all these soft, splotchy, interwoven background. And the best part is these lines are anything but perfect lines. They are all broken up and wonky, because who likes perfection? Not I. And again, this one leans into that yellow and ochre, and it's got some beautiful cornflower blue, that taupe, some other colors in here as well. This one is grid graph. All right, let's move to the next one. This is called textile. This one's a little different for me, but I made it. It's based on my artwork, so it is me, despite the fact that it's a little different, and really, it's not that different. But this one is called textile, and it also leans into this notion of pattern over text. Mind you, when you look close, and I'll show you, this is some perhaps unreadable text in between, but I love this pattern. Reminds me of my time in Spain, sort of a Spanish tile inspiration behind it. I love the fact that it is so strongly linear, but the way it's written here and printed here is it kind of broken up in a way, so it doesn't feel like lines. And then in between, you'll see those beautiful scrolly designs and that grungy, really dark, rich, inky black. Let's see if we can get this so there's no light. That's the sweet spot. And again, leaning into those colors. Beverly says it looks like old-fashioned flock wallpaper. Love, love, love that. The original piece of art that I made for this was made with a textural embossing powder. So in a manner of speaking, it did kind of have that sort of flock velvet feel to it. But again, I think this one would be amazing for home decor and other things as well. That is textile. All right. This is going to look familiar. Remember this piece of art I shared with you before, which was the basis for one of my designs. This one is called Northern Territory. It was created in 2020 based on my experience and time in Australia. Well, now you all can have a piece of Northern Territory because we have that. And we have that. So literally, it's a Where's Waldo phenomenon. Depending upon where I place this and where the shadow is coming from, you may not even know that that's a piece of art and not part of this fabric. Love this. Again, it's got the dark, rich, earthy, grounding tones, as well as these bright yellows and ochres that remind me of sun. And it's got some of the greens and blues that remind me of the earth. It feels a little bit like, that was my inspiration, the land from above. And again, when you get very close, you're going to see a ton of detail, including some text. Let's see, am I pulling in? There's the text. You can see it sort of hidden in here. And there's even some spots of lighter elements that have some text in it as well. Northern Territory. All right. That's just got a few more. Thank you all for staying on and seeing the bulk of this. All right, so this one is based on a page I did in one of my books. And depending upon who you ask, it's either called a semic or a semic. But this is what it looks like. And once again, leaning into some lighter tones, which I know the quilters out there will really appreciate. So this is just based on my semic writing, a semic writing. We'll go both so we don't leave anybody out here. And it's got writing in it, but only I know what it says. And if you look very closely, the first thing you're going to notice maybe is that dark writing. Maybe the second thing you'll notice is those yellow elements. Then maybe those dots. But what you really need to see, other than those inky splashes in the back, is that this whole thing is on a grid. It's on a soft, see if we can get that clear here, a soft grid underneath. There we go. So what reads from far away as just a light, solid background. There's so much more detail. There's magic in the layers. And that is really what this collection is about. One layer away. You are always one layer away from magic. When you're working, something's not coming out. You do one thing, you add the one little detail, the one little supply, and it is a miracle and magical. And that is what this collection is about. It's about providing you with layers and tools where you can find your magic. Here we have lots of letters. And man, there are lots of letters here. So from far away, maybe if I didn't say the name, lots of letters. Maybe you have just read these as random marks, but if you haven't figured it out yet, oh, these are not just random marks. These are distress degraded letters, which are the best kind. My first collection or two really leaned heavily on words, as do all of my collections. But the shift from the last collection before Stamped, which was called On Your Mark, and this one is that letters and text are used in different ways. Yes, there are words. Yes, there are phrases. Yes, those are the stars, but there are also letters that you can't quite read, or script writing that's impossible to decipher, or other languages where the words have been degraded so you can't quite make out what it says. It's leaning into text and the messages behind text in a bit of a different and unique way. All right, my friends, I have two more things to show you, and then I'm going to have you do your test. An animal print, I love that. All right, so I have the last of my 18 designs. This one is going to be very hard to show you. It is called Enchanted Ombre, and it is an ombre. And it is an ombre that takes the entire width of the bolt, that's 44 inches, to repeat. So the entire width of the full bolt, every element is different. You know, that's a huge repeat, and it gives you so many options. This fabric to me is so good for quilting and larger projects because it's the only way to see it all. So let me just try to kind of share and show you what I mean here. So you're going to see these rich, dark, there's some really deep lavenders, greens, blues overlaid with this black diamond-like design with these wonderful words that repeat in many of the other other designs, but also include new ones: Once in a Lifetime, Lost and Found, Harmony, Explore, Fearless, Shine Your Light, One Step at a Time. Again, some repeated, some are new. I'm going to just lift it up for 1 second to show you the close-up so that you can see it's actually much darker and richer than it appears to read here. There's a lot of light here, and the light is almost fading this out. Trust me when I say this is so much darker than it reads. It's just a really rich, dark. There we go. Oh, almost had it for a second. There we go. That's what it reads. No, I'm not sure what's going on with the light here, but I think you get it, right? But wait, there's more, because let's just start and let's just pull this fabric across. All right, we need a video. I'm going to have to make a video of this. All right, remember, it's much darker than it appears. But what I really want you to notice is the color shift. Because remember, this isn't called Enchanted Ombre for no reason at all. And from far away, this is reading so pea green. It is so not the color. Let's see if we can. I'm going to have to do some photography and put this on still. Let's see if we can get the rich, deep, dark. So disappointing that I can't share with you. But what I can do is fold this over so you see where the ombre tones start versus where they end. It is a spectacular piece of fabric, and I was thoroughly, whoops, over the moon when I saw it IRL for the first time. All right, so that's 18, but you can't go anywhere because those of you who weren't here in the beginning, I mentioned that for the first time, I'm releasing a quilt back with a collection. And it is an amazing quilt back. It is based on some of the patterns that I've already showed you, but it's different. And there's no way to share it with you fully, A, because I don't have the piece, but and two, it's just huge. It's 108 inches. But what I do have is I have a paper segment of what is, I think, about a third of it. Now, I'm just going to show you a small segment of the paper segment because it just goes and goes. And this is folded. And it just folded. Now, this is true to size. So the quilt back is going to be based on, as we saw, one layer away from Magic Piece, but there's a lot of overlays here from other designs as well as different designs that appear in the quilt back. And I think one of the amazing things, again, for me, is that this piece really pulls out the core of the collection in terms of the colors, in terms of the use of words and positive affirmations, in terms of the use of both linear and nonlinear symbols, in terms of script that may not actually be legible, in terms of layers and mark making, and maybe in terms of magic. Now I am going to flip to that so I can once again try to show you this beautiful piece. Now remember, this is about 1/3 of the actual size that you get. Okay, this is hand. You can see the size. The other side. So my friends, need I say, dare I say, that this is going to end up being a meme because it's so ridiculous, but that this is my first quilt back. And before we move along, let me just try from the front-facing camera to share and show you this piece. So let's just stand up. This will just give you an idea from far away. Remember, it's called Enchanted Ombre. So you see the gorgeous tonal color shift. And there we have the colors more true to what they actually are. Rich jewel tones, deep, gorgeous, punctuated with these lighter splatters, phrases, words, and that beautiful overlay of that diamond, distressed diamond pattern. All right, so I got to ask you a couple questions. And you may or may not have the answers, but those of you who've been here long enough, for the last 48 minutes, I asked you to do me the favor of doing some homework, one of which is, did you have any favorites or favorite? And the other one is, can you put in your own words how you see this collection maybe connecting to my prior collections or how it's a little bit unique? And I've kind of given you the answers along the way, but I'm going to just hang out with you for another couple minutes and look at the comments, and then I'm going to sign off. All right, let's make some notes here. Seams Sew Together, wonderful independent shop in Vermont. Love them all, but some favorites are Overlay, Down to Earth, Rippling, Affirmation, Desert Garden, Freestyle, Northern Territory, and Enchanted Ombre. Thank you. I'm impressed that you were able to capture all those names. Wendy from Australia, she says, kind of love an overlay and affirmation. Now, Wendy, I figured you would absolutely adore Northern Territory. Now, I know you're in Victoria, but you know, you are from Australia. Terry, hey Terry. Digging Mesh Mash. Okay, one of the things I am loving here is that we're getting different favorites from different people. Emily Design, I love them all. I'm particularly in love with Desert Garden. Love that. Again, for me, that's the bridge between the older collections and this collection. So that is great to hear. Grace says, overlay a fave, but many are faves. Thank you. Now, I'm sure half of you don't remember which one overlay was, but I promise you that eventually you're going to know them all. Let's see. Jane asks, will you be selling the ripped and stripped ones? I will be. Now, again, these are not available. This collection is not available until August of 2026. It is retail, pre-sale only now. So I will eventually be selling it. I'll be selling everything in my shop. And I do want to make mention for those of you who are here in its present time, you know, if you're watching this video on YouTube in like the year 2035, maybe not true, but my newest collection from Freespirit, the one that exists, stamped. Oh, I just happen to have it right here. My first low volume collection. The ripped strip rolls that I sell in my shop are going to be available sometime over the next week. So stay tuned for an announcement. Shelby, thank you. She says, it's unique. I can't pick just one fave. And Wendy comes to her senses and says, yes, of course, Northern Territory. LOL, goes without saying. Robin, I appreciate that. Beautiful work. I really appreciate that. Linda, I love affirmation and freestyle, but they are all great. Capitals and exclamation points. That is very thoughtful of you. Sheila, Northern Territory and ombre and overlay. Okay. All right, we have some that are rising to the top. It's interesting. Francis, many favorites. Can't wait until retail buyers can take part. You know, it's strange as it is to say that August is going to be here before we know it. I think we all know that time is passing in such a way that August will be here before we know it. All right, so a big thank you to all of you who are here today watching live and on recording. Thank you so much. If you have any questions about this collection, you can reach out to me. Best way to do it is via email. Chef, I'm going to just type a comment. Email Seth with questions at shap97@gmail.com. I am so thankful to Freespirit for bringing me into the family, keeping me in the family, letting me grow up with the family. This collection is now my 5th official collection. I have one design I did for a collaborative piece collection before, but it has just been great. And I am just beginning to work on the one that comes after, the one that comes after the one that's here now. So big appreciation to you all. Thank you for those of you from Freespirit who are here behind the scenes. Again, a big thank you to Debbie and Jenna, who I work with in the company, who get me and are able to translate my 6 gazillion layers filled with details to magical fabric. I'm so appreciative. And I just want to throw out there again, I know I don't need to say this because you probably already know this, but that anytime you use anything of mine your way and you create something special, which is everything you make, and you post it, I would love for you to tag me, because I really, really, really feel like a collection is complete when I see how people who buy the collection use it. It's kind of incomplete until then. So whether it's an older piece of fabric or one of my stamps, stencils, paints, anything, please tag me, and always feel free to support the company who's behind it and tag the company as well. Everybody, thank you a million times over. Have a great day, night, morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you may be. And I look forward to sharing the next reveal for whatever collection comes next, which is probably not going to be too long from now, very soon. Take care, everybody. Thank you. Bye now.